Hi everyone. Welcome to Secrets Behind the Stars. All the details are in this video-style narration you love. If you enjoy it, tap that like button and subscribe to Secrets Behind the Stars. You can even join to support us more. Thank you for being here. Now settle in as we unravel the night that rattled the Turkish entertainment world. When the headlines seemed to calm and the chatter had started to fade, Mahassine Merabet decided that her truth wouldn't wait. One post, spare, elegant, and impossible to ignore, hit social media like a quiet thunderclap. In a black and white portrait, she appeared without adornment, her gaze level and serene. The caption, though short, felt like a curtain pulled back. Real love doesn't need fireworks, it lives in what we share. The words were neither angry nor bitter. They sounded like a vow to herself. But in minutes, the calm surface broke. Comments, theories, and arguments overflowed, splitting fans straight down the middle. Why such uproar? Because of what had happened just hours before. Cenk and Mahassine had been the center of a viral moment, she, luminous, a ring catching the light at her fingertip, he, beaming, holding her close in a way that felt protective and proud. The photo traveled at the speed of gossip, and the applause was deafening. Then came her reflective post, and suddenly that radiant image had a shadow. Was her caption a critique of spectacle? A partner's plea for substance over performance? Or simply a woman reminding the world that intimacy is the real headline? Everyone picked a side, and every side had a story. Insiders whispered that Mahassine had been quiet for a long time, choosing not to fuel narratives she hadn't written. People who know her described her not as aloof, but as someone who believes what's sacred should be guarded. They said the ring's viral glow made her uneasy. The idea that love might be turned into a campaign felt like a tangled knot in her chest. The post, then, looked less like a provocation and more like a boundary. Still, interpretation is a sport on the internet, and within an hour it became a match of quotes and insinuations. Entertainment panels roared to life. One critic, unflinching and certain, declared that the moment was a lesson in contrast. Mahassine's strength is nuance and restraint, the spectacle around that ring is glitter and volume. According to the same voice, the timing of her post couldn't be dismissed as coincidence. It was read as a subtle line drawn in sand, enough of the noise, let the truth breathe. Others argued the opposite, if the world wants to celebrate a happy photo, why not let it? Wasn't joy meant to be shared? The debate spiraled, as debates do, and in the middle stood the man whose silence always speaks, Cenk. While curious eyes waited for him to choose a sentence that could anchor the storm, Cenk chose a different tactic. He said almost nothing at all. During a fan event in Italy, his presence was charming but careful. When pressed, he offered only a calm refrain, people love in different ways. I listen to what my heart tells me. It wasn't a confession, nor a denial. It was a rope tossed into a sea of speculation, and everyone grabbed it to pull in their own direction. Some heard a defense of privacy. Others heard a secret admission. The room may have been loud with cheers, but his voice was a murmur that lingered. Later, he posted a photo, the silhouette of a man facing a sapphire horizon, the coastline pulling his gaze forward. The caption was a single word, quiet. In seconds, timelines filled with translation attempts for a one-word poem. Was he hiding from the chaos or centering himself for the next move? Was the figure contemplating the future with Mahassine, or mourning how swiftly happiness can be turned into a slogan? Fans projected their hearts onto that horizon, and every comment was a guessing game dressed as a verdict. And you, Secrets Behind the Stars viewer, what did you feel when you saw it? Did the hush read as protection, or as distance? Was it a shield for the woman he loves, or a wall between them? Tell us in the comments, because in stories like these, the audience becomes part of the script. But the night had more to say. Not long after Mahassine's post, an image appeared on Cenk's feed that set new sparks flying. No red dress this time, but a midnight tuxedo and a deep crimson glow behind him, a restaurant scene that felt like a stage without curtains. His expression was confident, his posture firm, and the line beneath the photo was a blade wrapped in silk. Some trust the spotlight more than the feeling. It was brief. It was glamorous. It was loaded. Was it a reply to her quiet manifesto, a gentle pushback against the ideal of invisible love? Or a reminder that joy shouldn't be ashamed to shine? The comments multiplied like echoes in a glass hall. "This isn't romance, it's a duel of captions," some wrote. Others said, "They love each other, but they're wrestling with how to show it to us." In that reading, their social media became a mirror of a conversation every couple has: how much is ours, and how much belongs to the world? Behind the screen, sources painted a fraught landscape. People close to Mahassine said she is exhausted by comparisons she never asked for, old narratives, past chapters, imagined rivals, and the persistent rumor that every gesture is choreographed. Those same sources claimed that whenever the ring becomes the topic, Cenk grows taut with worry about public pressure and private peace. He adores her, they said, but the magnitude of the moment makes him pace. Another insider, this one attached to a brand campaign, insisted that Cenk dislikes veiled messages. He's a straight-line kind of man, even when the path is crowded. And yet every time he respects the quiet, his stillness is treated like a vote for one camp or the other. Meanwhile, the cameras refused to blink. Cenk continued working in Italy on a commercial shoot. He was trailed from the trailer door to the set lights, each step photographed, each glance overinterpreted. When a reporter dared to ask him if he'd seen the post that set everything in motion, he gave a small smile, raised an eyebrow, and simply moved past, gracious but unyielding. The smile, oddly enough, felt like a greater revelation than any paragraph could have been, an answer that suggested he understood, and that someone's heart mattered to him too much to be discussed in a parking lot. As the city slept, Mahassine resurfaced with a quiet image that felt like a hand on a page. An open book, a soft pool of lamplight, a line written by her own careful hand. Certain chapters close, yet what we feel rarely disappears. It wasn't a confession aimed at anyone, it was a truth that touched every person who has ever loved and learned. In minutes, the likes climbed like tidewater, and the comments became a chorus. Some wrote that the ring might shimmer, but her words hold the soul. Others confessed that no heart ever truly forgets, not entirely, not when it has known something real. And so the triangle that never needed a third name, privacy, publicity, and the bond between them, hardened into a story the world couldn't stop reading. Mahassine shone by refusing to dim herself for a crowd. Her melancholy wasn't performance, it was the soft ache of sincerity in a room full of microphones. Cenk, for his part, seemed to live at a crossroads, the past that fans keep reviving and the future that glitters with promises and pitfalls. The public measured every breath and built monuments out of their pauses, as if silence itself were made of clues. Whose side are you on, Secrets Behind the Stars family? Do you believe Cenk's restraint hides a deeper tenderness he will not parade? Do you think Mahassine's lines are love letters to the life they're trying to guard? Or are these just two artists learning the price of visibility in a world that demands confessions on demand? Drop your thoughts, because in a saga like this, your perspective is part of the heartbeat. Look closer and you'll see something more delicate than a battle. You'll see two people contending with the weight of celebration. The ring was supposed to be a circle of promise, and suddenly it became a compass for strangers. The photos that were meant to capture joy were turned into billboards of opinion. One moment they are a couple basking in their glow, the next they are figureheads at the mercy of interpretation. It's unfair, but it's also the bargain many stars make. Fame pays well, but it never pays in privacy. If you followed their paths, you know that Mahassine built her name with poise and diligence, fading the volume on everything except the work itself. You know that Cenk earned affection by being charismatic on camera and careful off it, the kind of man who lets his roles burn bright while his real life stays in warm shadow. Together, they look like an answer to a question fans have asked for years: can a love survive the lenses? But answers have a way of becoming riddles when millions are watching. What started as joy has become a negotiation of tone. Does love look like a whisper or a spotlight? Does commitment hide in a caption, or refuse to be captured at all? Every time one of them posts, they are accused of either hiding or flaunting. Every time one of them stays silent, the silence is turned into a script. We are watching two artists attempt a high-wire act with no net, holding each other tight while letting the public see just enough to keep cheering. If the wind rises, they lean in. If the crowd gasps, they breathe and go on. There is a tenderness in the way their gestures loop back to each other. Her gentle manifesto about intimacy, his tuxedoed assertion that celebration isn't a sin, both lines are true, and both belong to the same love. His seaside silhouette, her lamplight page, both images are about finding a center in the world's noise. They are not contradicting each other as much as completing a circle at different speeds. If you've ever loved, you know that two truths can live in one home: the longing to share what is beautiful and the instinct to protect what is precious. Perhaps that's why this story feels larger than gossip. It is gossip's favorite shape, yes, glamour, hints, the pleasure of decoding. But beneath the sparkle, it is an ordinary ache made famous, the kind that belongs to anyone who has felt their private moments become public property. When the night is over and the feeds reset, he is still the man who glances at the horizon before he speaks. She is still the woman who chooses a sentence as carefully as a jewel. They are two people, not trends, trying to keep their promise from becoming a performance. Tell us if you think they'll find the balance. Tell us if that ring is a shield or a spotlight, a vow or a stage prop. And tell us whether the world deserves a front row seat to every heartbeat they share. Your comment is not just a reaction, it's part of the chorus that will echo back to them. Before we close, remember why we tune in, not to tear down, but to feel the electricity of lives that mirror our own. If you've ever posted a photo and wondered what it says about you, you've lived a smaller version of this very tale. If you've ever kept a precious moment off the grid, you've spoken Mahassine's language. If you've ever dressed up for happiness and dared to step into the light, you've understood Cenk. That recognition is the secret handshake between stars and the people who watch them. We'll keep following every breath of this story here on Secrets Behind the Stars, where every pause matters and every word is weighed. Subscribe so you don't miss what comes next, and hit join if you want to be part of the inner circle that keeps these conversations alive. Because whatever tomorrow brings, another photo, another caption, or no post at all, you know we'll be here to read between the lines. And if there's a lesson to pocket from the whispers and the spotlight, it is this: you can't counterfeit love, you can only live it. Thank you for watching with your heart open. Until the next chapter, take care and goodbye from Secrets Behind the Stars.